1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. This is episode 99, and it is Christmas again. This is our third Christmas episode.
Guys, it feels like years since we've been recording a podcast.
It has been years. Literally. 2.5. I think we started in August 2020. In ye old times.
I feel like we've had a lot of... I always remember the New Year episodes that we've done. I don't know why. Just those ones in particular.
That's always a fun time. On holiday, you're not, like, dealing with work and stuff normally.
Yeah. So, Christmas.
But yeah, Christmas. So we thought, again, we've kind of gone back to this more casual format where we're just chatting for an hour in one solid segment rather than splitting things up, unless we have something specifically to split it up about. So just thought it'd be good to talk about Christmas things. First one being like just Christmas traditions. Like things that, because one thing I found growing up was that like you grow up in your family does certain things at Christmas, right? And I found it to be kind of like a bit of a shock moment when I found out like other traditions that I had never even heard of that other families, just my own hometown, like did. Like
Right.
Example being Elf on a Shelf. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, we've talked about this on the previous year's podcast.
Yeah, so
which is kind of weird and creepy to me.
yeah, without rehashing it too much, I mean, it's you just like you have a little elf doll and you put it on a shelf somewhere in the house and it moves around. The parents move it around and the kids are looking for it and it's
Super creepy.
I think it's kind of creepy, but I didn't grow up with it.
I'm not a massive fan of dolls, but there you go.
Yeah.
We haven't even got a Christmas tree up yet.
We always did a Christmas tree, and up until very recently, it was always like a living, like a real tree. I think we first started using an artificial one like after I got out of college, which makes sense. But there was like this really nice farm that was near my house that grew Christmas trees. Like that was a huge part of their business.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
Yeah. It's a lot of work to get a real Christmas tree each year.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't that bad, but we had this little thing at the bottom that you had to keep it watered and stuff to keep it green for as long as you could. And then when we had cats, they would climb up into it, which always fun.
Or use it as a scratching post, or pee on it, or
Yeah, none of them ever peed on it. We managed to avoid that one, but like
that's more of a dog thing, I guess. But
yeah, but some of the traditions that my family did, it was like we'd always. Well, we were Catholics, so we'd go to the midnight mass at the church, and then get up early the next morning. We'd do presents with just the family, and then we'd go to, when he was still alive, we'd go to my grandfather's house, and whole family would gather there, have a big dinner. But yeah, that was really it.
yeah, we're not a big tradition family over here. Alicia's family certainly is. But yeah, so
Anything in particular that I'm trying to think like if there was any. Oh, that was what she was mentioning this the other day. This is something that you guys have that we don't, and that's the whole Christmas panto thing.
yeah, the pantomime. That's honestly one of the events of Christmas that I think I would still enjoy because it's a laugh. The pantomime. There's, the dame. I mean, actually, maybe the dame is kind of a bit. Maybe you can't do that anymore so much now.
This is just like man in a wig or something.
Yeah.
I don't. So I basically only have a vague idea of what it is, and I only have a vague idea because I've heard it mentioned and referenced in British media, but I've never seen it. I had to look it up to figure out what it was because it's basically unknown over here.
Yeah, there's a big there's essentially pantomime memes. There's the he's behind you. There's when they do the song where they're all walking around a bench and then a ghost joins in, and then it's one of these things you gotta be there to see it.
It's like an interactive thing too. The audience is expected to like shout stuff
Audience
at
participation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. fun.
Yeah.
I think there's also at the local theatre to me. I think they're doing an adult pantomime this year.
God.
Which I don't know what that's going to be like. That sounds
What is they just swear?
odd.
Occasionally, one person on stage drops their pants.
Well, I'm wondering if that's the way it's going to go. Yeah,
That somehow doesn't seem in the.
it seems rather backwards. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, here's something. Speaking of Christmas traditions, because I had this conversation with one of my coworkers, and she's located in the UK and somewhere up in the north near Yorkshire. She party gift giving exchanges, right? There's Secret Santa, where you.
God, I sound like such a humbug. Go on.
I like Secret Santa. If you're gonna do one of those gift exchange things, that's the one I like because you get a random name, and
that's because you have a worse equivalent over there.
Yeah. Okay, and that's what I'm getting to because I can tell I've talked to you about. So I told her about it, and I'm biased. I hate this type of gift giving exchange. So there's 3 names for it. One is Yankee Swap. Apparently, it's also referred to as a white elephant gift exchange, or Bad Santa. I think was the third one I saw, and I'd never heard of the third one, but I'd heard.
I like to call it colonization because we fuck over the people that actually own the thing.
It is the most when they say it's in the Christmas spirit. It's it's a positive thing. It's about. But that's not it. This is the least Christmas spirit type of gift exchange out there. Because essentially what happens is you get a random order, and people pick from a collection of gifts that have all been contributed, and they pick them in order. But the first person just picks from the pile, they have no choice. Second person can either pick from the pile or steal what the person had just gotten. And then the third person can steal from that person or the first person. And it's just the most fucked up thing to do at Christmas. It's yes, what puts you in the holiday spirit? Robbing my coworkers. Who in their right mind thought that was a good idea?
We have perfected this. Okay. This concept of game. You have passed the parcel over there, don't you?
Maybe. What's it?
Wait, you don't know what parcel is?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what it was.
There's a big ring of people. There's music playing, and you're passing this present round in a circle. And then when the music stops, whoever is holding it gets it.
All right, so it's musical chairs, but with gift giving. Yeah.
Sure, but less shoving and shit because you just sat down.
Yeah, fair.
But no, my family, on Boxing Day every year, we have everyone, and bear in mind, everyone in my family at this point is apart from the really young ones, there's a lot of us who are in their 30s to 60s range, right? And so there's some very old-fashioned music playing in the background.
Yep.
And we're passing the thing around, and if it stops on you, you get to unwrap one layer of a multiple-layered present, which has lots of small presents in each layer.
Okay.
So, and all the presents have the equivalent value of being £1 worth.
Okay.
And so you collate all these things, let's say, a pack of 10 multicolored plastic cups, for example. Just interesting, weird little doodads. And then... But when it lands on you, so you get the prize, but you also have to take one random piece of dressing up. So you end up with people wearing a wizard's cloak with 50s big pink glasses on and a false mustache and a builder's hat.
This does sound like a very British thing. But
no, it's not even a British thing. It's a my family thing.
Oh, okay. This is one I've never heard of.
But no, it's great because then when you get to the end, and let's say you have some gifts that some presents that you're less keen on, I don't know, 5 scouring pads with dolphins on them.
Mm.
You can then trade other people. So generally, the children want either edible things or shiny things.
Yeah.
So you can scamaz the children. Okay, but there's a back and forth trade. So you both agree to swap.
Yeah. That I like. It's not outright theft like Yankee Swap.
No. And the pictures afterwards look amazing because everyone is wearing ridiculous stuff.
I think I like that element of it.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, that's kind of what happens in a lot of RPGs like MMOs and stuff. You just end up with just you equip whatever equipment has the biggest numbers, and so your character ends up looking like a circus act.
Except it's like the event pieces of equipment you get where it's like Easter Bunny ears, which you're never going to wear normally because they give you crap stats, but
Yeah.
just such a weird eclectic mix.
God.
Yeah. So that's Boxing Day is our big
What you
day.
described earlier with like the false mustache, the wizard hat, the pink 80s sunglasses, and the builder's hat.
Yeah.
What that made me think, it's like, I just thought it's, like Captain Planet,
Not really. I
Okay,
know
well,
all of them.
but you get the concept. Like these guys have like elemental, it's like Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, Heart, and then they
I
form
see, yeah.
Captain Planet. It's like that, except with the village people. You've just created
Yeah.
like the amalgam of all of them.
Exactly. No,
Oh.
seeing like my bold builder uncle walking around with like a tiara on is just endless laughs.
Oh man, yeah. I think of the gift exchange, that one sounds like a lot of fun. I'd be willing to give that one a try. But definitely the one that I like the best that I've done is the Secret Santa ones, because usually you'll set a price limit too. Because I like when I buy gifts for people, right?
Yeah.
I like it to be personalized and something I think that they'll actually enjoy.
I
So
don't get that with Secret Santa generally, because generally the Secret Santa you get is someone you don't know, you're limited to like £5, and you don't want to get anything like edible or anything in case they're allergic to or some shit.
well, see that's if I guess that's true if you're doing it with coworkers. But even then
yeah.
you kind of know some of them pretty well. But I'm talking about like the times I've done it have been with like a group of friends, like people from my hometown.
Yeah, okay.
Did that one, and we'd set like a $20 limit, right? And so I'd be able to pick something out that fits them, pretty well. So like
The best time I've done...
Sorry, one time I got like this girl that lived in my neighborhood. I knew she really liked Disney, and so I got her like a Wall-E plushie. It was perfect.
Yeah. No, so I did that with my D&D group for 1 year. And of course I get the person who lives in Texas.
Shipping guns.
And we all got each other basically. We agreed that we would get each other dice, and it was good and it was fun.
That's good. D&D themed stuff. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. But there have been Secret Santas in the past where I have been let down so many times by Secret Santa that particularly where it's like schools or workplaces where you just get so... I get so downhearted by what people's imaginations can stretch to. That is to say, very limited, very lazy, very rushed. Whereas I've put some time and effort into mine, and I'm like, well, fuck you, this was barely £1 worth of shit.
See, that's the thing. But I've personally always found a lot more enjoyment in finding the gift and giving it to someone. And that was a shift that happened to me like probably in like probably when I was in like middle school, when I was like 10 or 11. I stopped really caring so much about what I was getting, and I started really thinking about what I could give people.
It's not so much the item itself, because I mean, the item would have been a £5 thing anyway. It's not like I was breaking the bank. But it was the clear visual lack of effort on their
like
part.
Putting some thought into it.
Yeah, which left me like, well, okay. I kind of wish I didn't do this now, really.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I can say this because this will be coming out on Christmas, so I
True.
won't I won't be spoiling anything. But like for this year for my mother and father, right? Um, again, for my dad, he's been doing a lot of working out, a lot of running.
Yep.
And so I got him this really nice pair of like athletics Under Armour like sunglasses.
Yeah.
My mother, well, I mean, she's honestly
I bought a shotgun.
she's a little bit easier. I got her this bourbon whiskey that's aged in Merlot casks, so it's got a little bit of a wine whiskey kind of flavor to it.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Did you get anything for the dog?
I did, but it's not going to arrive in time for Christmas.
Oh, he's gonna be so upset with you.
He's just going to be happy that I'm there.
Oh, that's how it should be.
He like every time I come home, that dog like he just sprints over to me and he's running around me in circles and jumping up on me for like 20 minutes until he finally calms down.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, are we going to be
actually-
watching a Christmas film?
That's actually my next topic on here is talking about some Christmas, just chatting about Christmas films in general. What makes a good one? Like
I see.
stuff.
Well, obviously, we all know the best one's Die Hard.
Yeah, I know, and I'm still not sold on the fact that just because a movie takes place at Christmas, it's a Christmas film.
I don't even think it really is. I think more the fact that everyone is so adamant that it isn't makes me want to believe it is all the more.
See, I'm not hardcore on one side or the other, but the argument that it's set at Christmas and therefore is a Christmas film just doesn't fit right with me. Plus, it's set in California, so there's not even any snow.
California has Christmas.
Yeah, but they don't have snow. They're doing it wrong. A Southern
see.
California Christmas is an inferior Christmas. I said it.
Oh my goodness.
But quickly, before we get off the dog topic, just this
Okay.
has nothing to do with Christmas. Juan's getting a dog.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, you said.
I-
What breed was it again?
So it's this designer breed. So it's one that they literally can't breed naturally. They have to do an artificial insemination for it.
Right.
It's
Oh, a pug and...
no, it's a husky and a Pomeranian. So the Pomeranians are tiny and the huskies are
Yeah.
fairly large, so they have to do it that way. But and it's actually kind of adorable. It has like two different eye color. Like one eye is blue, one eye is like this green brown.
Yes, you sent me a picture, I think.
Yeah, it's all fluffy, but it's got the husky face shape. It's a very adorable dog. So
Yeah.
he's been thinking about getting a dog for a while now. He hasn't had a pet in quite a while. So that'll be nice to see. And that'll be if that comes through, then his son will get a very special Christmas gift in the form of doggo.
Yes, I mean, there's probably no greater gift you could receive at Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, people should be very careful about buying pets for Christmas, obviously.
Yeah. You got to make sure you can take care of it too. Like that's the
Yeah.
only reason I don't have a pet is because I have to I live
Fly
alone
places.
and I have to fly places sometimes for, a week at a time. And that happens frequently enough that it would just be probably bad for the pet because I'd have to either have people coming in to take care of it all the time or constantly be bringing it to like a daycare or something. But because I love animals. I had all kinds of crazy pets when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But not to get distracted. All right, so Christmas movies.
Christmas film, yeah.
One that I never really watched it. I can't remember really watching it that much growing up, but it's one that I saw a few times just because my dad and mother would put on because they apparently watched it a lot growing up.
Yeah.
And that was It's a Wonderful Life. Do you know this movie?
I see. No.
All right, it's a black and white movie released in 1946 or something like that. It's about this guy at Christmas time. Like it opens with him on a bridge about to, take a plunge into the icy water.
Lovely.
And he's clear. And the movie goes through like what
Filled
brought him.
with Christmas cheer.
Well, the thing is, it has a very, very happy and wholesome ending. So it's
Okay.
him at the end of his rope, and so the movie then goes and establishes like how he got to this point. Like grew up in this small town, and for whatever reason, instead of traveling the world, he ended up taking over the family business and helping run it. And every time he was going to go out and live his life and stuff like that, or even to the point where him and his wife's honeymoon had to be canceled because it was right during the Great Depression, and they ran a bank, and so he had to spend all their savings keeping the bank open.
Yeah.
Because it was like a small family-run kind of bank. And anyway, so all this stuff kept doing that to him, and then even more harder times were coming around on Christmas. He can't get credit, and it's looking like they might lose their house and stuff like that, and it's just all overwhelmed him, and it brought him to that stage. And it does have a kind of a supernatural element, like you get with what is it, the Christmas Carol, the one with Scrooge.
Right, yes, A Christmas Carol.
An angel comes down and gives him the opportunity to see what his life would be like if he was never born. What?
Is it Morgan Freeman?
No, it's not Morgan. That would be...
Damn it.
Morgan Freeman, I may not have been born at the time this movie came out. If he was alive, he would have been very, very young.
I see.
But no, and so he gets to see what the whole town is basically transformed by him not being there. Like,
right.
It's a lot seedier. People who he knows to be good people are in unfortunate jobs. Like one of his closest friends, who's actually a pretty good guy in the reality where he's alive, is running a fairly seedy bar. And he finds out that his brother, who in his reality is like a war hero, he's dead in this reality because he drowned as a kid because he saved his brother when he was a kid.
Right.
And so all this stuff kind of piles up on him, and then he wants nothing more than all those issues that he had that put him on that bridge in the beginning of the movie suddenly seem a lot smaller, and he wants.
I realize you just told me the entire synopsis of the plot that in theory we're going to be watching.
It's still worth watching. I'm skipping over a lot, but I'm just giving you the main bullet points.
Gotcha.
So it all comes together at the end, and the angel restores him back to his reality where he's alive, and he goes home to find his family there, and that the whole town has come together and done a collection to help keep his to pay him back for all the good he's done throughout his life, and it's just a very wholesome ending.
I mean, I was thinking more like the original Wallace and Gromit films, but sure.
Well, I mean, there's also A Christmas Carol, which is in all its many, many iterations.
Oh, no, it's been too no.
Well, okay, there've been a lot. Is there one that you like?
What?
A Christmas Carol. Yeah. Is there one that you would point to and be like, forget all the other ones, I'll watch that one, and that's the one that, because I agree it's oversaturated. Everyone's done it.
I hear the Scrooge McDuck one is probably pretty funny.
The one that's actually the one I'd choose.
I don't think I've seen any in the end, but obviously you know the plot, and I mean...
Yeah. For anyone out there who has lived under a rock,
their entire existence.
Yeah, the basic premise of A Christmas Carol is a moneylender in London is very miserly, hates Christmas, and just is very stingy and not very charitable. He gets these Christmas ghosts that come by and show him his past, present, and future, and convince him to change his ways and become a better person. That's the main points of the story.
Mm-hmm. And then he becomes Elon Musk.
And then Scrooge McDuck founded SpaceX.
Invented a flamethrower and went out on the streets.
Ironically, I mean, Elon Musk started off with a finance platform. He was one of the co-founders of PayPal. But yeah, I do like the Scrooge, like the McDuck version, the Disney version of it.
Yes.
Though I've heard that the Muppets one is really good because it actually stars Michael Caine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And
apparently... I was actually thinking about when we were talking about Christmas films, but I was thinking Muppets, but I wasn't thinking of the Christmas one. I was thinking of the Muppets Treasure Island.
I've seen that one, but only once and a long time ago.
I think I've seen it a very, very, very long time ago. Because I have memories of it, and I remember very much enjoying it.
Yeah. But apparently, the Muppets Christmas one, Michael Caine is Scrooge, and he apparently performs just very, very well. Like he does a good... I think I may have seen it at some point in my life, but I can't remember much about it. Other Christmas
And
movies.
his heart grew to the size of a tangerine.
Tangerine.
That night.
The Grinch. The Grinch is another
Yeah.
classic one. The original
Yes.
animated one, although the live action one's okay.
It's alright, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the animated one.
I've seen the animated one. That was one of the go-to staples that I watched as a kid at Christmas. That one and the original like claymation Rudolph movie.
Well, maybe we should watch really one of the. I don't. That's reminded me of like the fucked up Roald Dahl books now. Because I mean they were pretty fucked up, especially in the older versions of the films, like Witches.
I don't know what you're referring to actually.
Oh, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But The Witches was horrifying as a child to me, and I think I must have watched it around Christmas because it's one of those things where you mentioned Christmas and it makes me think of that film. And it's about some families that go to a hotel and there's like a witch convention or something, and they're turning all the children in the hotel into mice and trying to kill them or something. Now, Roald Dahl has done a lot of very nice, friendly children's books, which, for some reason, whenever you put them into film, makes them incredibly creepy and scary. Except for Miss Fantastic Mr. Fox, actually. That was a classic.
That's a good movie.
It's a great fucking
Have you seen it's the new one that came out with like George Clooney played the fox?
Yeah, apparently that one wasn't as good.
Wait, is there another version of it?
I believe so, yeah.
I
could be wrong.
I've only ever seen the recent one where I think it's like stop motion or something like that, or if it is, it's animated in a different style. But I
My
quite
memory is
enjoyed
only
that
of the
movie.
actual book, though.
Okay.
Yes, Bogus Bunsen Bean. One short, one fat, one lean. These terrible crooks, equally rancid in looks, are nonetheless equally mean. I think that's the rhyme.
That sounds about right. I think they say that at the beginning of the movie, if I'm honest.
Yeah. But no, my favourite one, the pheasants. George's Marvelous Medicine. We had to read it as a book in school. George's Marvelous Medicine is about. Go on.
I've only heard of a couple of these, but go on.
So George's Marvelous Medicine is about his father was very sick, and they were quite a poor family. It was just George and his father. I can't remember what happened to his mother. And it's all about poaching pheasants from these rich farmers. There's a lot of evil rich farmers in Roald Dahl books. And basically they come up with this plan to have a mass heist of pheasants one night. And it's fantastic. I don't think they made a film of it, but it was a really good book.
I'm wondering if maybe these seem to be more like a British thing. Because even the ones that I know that you're talking about are ones that I've only heard about once they came to film, and presumably much later.
James and the Giant Peach.
That I saw the movie, the claymation movie.
The Giraffe, the Pelly and Me. You've probably not seen that one because that's not a film. But it is one of his classics. I said James the Giant Peach, didn't I?
You did.
There's another classic one which is eluding me. Oh, the BFG.
Big fucking
the Big Friendly
gun.
Giant.
Oh, I was thinking of the BFG from Doom, the big fucking gun.
No, not that one. Yeah, no, lots. He did a lot of very popular books, but yeah, like I said, most of them when adapted to film, very creepy. Anyway, yeah. I hated Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I thought it was
can't say
so
I know.
Sinister. Go on.
I can't say I know much about the book. And I haven't even seen the new movie. The only iteration I've seen, which is weird because I actually do quite like Johnny Depp movies.
I've seen the older version of the films.
Yeah, the older one. Yeah, I saw that one quite a few times. That was again another classic growing up.
It's not Michael Caine, is it?
No, it's not.
He's got a similar face.
Oh god, I'm gonna look this up real quick. Uh,
But yeah, no, just the horrific way in which the children are treated in it. It's just, oof.
yeah, but I mean, they live,
Well, yeah, I mean,
and I mean, I feel like, all right,
th-
you're not allowed to say this, but anymore, but they fucking deserved it. Like they were all like spoiled brats, and they needed a good kick in the pants.
well, Charlie also
Yeah, but
was a brat.
he was, but he wasn't as bad as the rest of them, and in the end, he redeemed himself. If you
Did
think
he?
about it, yeah, because so if you think about all the other brats, they were all doing something really messed up. He did one thing, and that was he stole one piece of candy, right? And in the end, after getting chewed out, he gave it back, and like that was his redemption arc.
I mean, it's not like Augustus Gloop was gonna throw up the chocolate that he ate, or the
Yeah,
woman was gonna spit out the tiny little gumdrop that she ate.
that's true. She wasn't really. Well, yeah, I guess really her biggest thing was just she talked way too much. Um, it was Gene Wilder, by the way, was the guy that played Willy Wonka.
Oh, gotcha.
Which it makes sense why you're thinking of him in because he's in movies with Michael Caine, isn't he?
He just had very similar,
The similar presence, I guess. Yeah,
yeah, and also a similar time. I feel like.
yeah. I mean, this movie. I'm looking at this now. I didn't realize it was this old. It was 1971,
Mm,
which
yeah.
you know what movie I want to rewatch again. What was that one with Sean Connery and Michael Caine?
The Man Who Would Be King.
The Man Who Would Be King. I want to watch that movie again sometime. Just I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, that was a good movie because we only watched it that one time, and then
There are some. It's gonna sound bad. There are some good films about the British Empire.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
if you can say anything about it, the British Empire did do a lot of good in the world.
they spread a lot of technology
It
and
spread a lot of
culture,
yeah,
but they also crushed a lot of cultures.
that's true. Yeah, a little. It's not like anything in history. It's not 100% good or bad, but of the empires, the British kind of left their former colonies in the best shape. Um,
Yeah, I mean, the fact that a lot of the colonies were strong enough to then stand up for themselves and kick us out
yeah,
is, I guess, a good thing. But no, I think that there's I remember there was a really good film. It might have just been called Gandhi or something.
I think I've
All
heard of
about-
this movie.
When Gandhi, I think from when he was born to when he died, and I remember watching it in school, and I really want to watch it again actually because it was it really pulled at your heartstrings, especially some of the scenes where some atrocious things happened, and you're like, "There's no way that the British Empire did that." Yeah, they totally fucking did.
Yeah. Well, something I think I know the bit you're talking about, and it wasn't actually sanctioned. And the person who did it ended up getting condemned, fired, and they brought charges against him. If it's the guy I'm thinking of, there was one particular very very bad incident that happened.
The specific part that I was thinking about, which was in the film, was the Amritsar massacre.
Yeah, that guy got in a lot of trouble and was actually prosecuted by the Empire for basically
Murder.
doing what he did.
Slaughter.
Exactly. We ventured away from Christmas a little bit.
Well, yeah, sorry, we're coming
All right,
to movies.
let's finish the topic and then we can
Yeah.
loop back around. But go on.
Oh, and I was just going to also mention that when they are peacefully walking on the camp, and they're just walking up in a line, getting clubbed down, and the next person's standing up. Like I said, very emotional film, and I will be. I want to watch it again at some point.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things about it. I know a lot about the history surrounding that stuff because I'm a massive history nerd. But yeah. What else do I have here? What do you think about like the whole? I'm curious about this. Is it something I put thought into? If you have kids, right? you plan on raising them with believing in Santa until like a certain age? No, you're just gonna you're gonna be interesting.
Iron Fist.
Hold on, sorry. What? Say that again. I lost
I shall rule with an iron fist. No.
Sorry, kids. There is no fucking magic.
There is no fucking Santa, but you better damn well believe in the Easter Bunny.
Interesting. He's a bunny supremacist.
My parents never particularly enforced the fact that Santa was real. It's one of these things where if they want to believe in it, I'll go through the rigmarole of, sneaking into their room and putting a present in their bed kind of thing. But for the most part, I'd rather they just knew the truth in advance, because I see full-grown adults these days pretending like Santa's real, and it makes me cringe.
See, I kind of think that at least until they're like maybe 6 or 7 years old, just if they don't figure it out, playing into, because I feel like that's something that's important for somebody's childhood, is to believe the world is a little bit less cold, and that there's magic out there, and I think it's good for the imagination and stuff. I think my parents did do it when I was growing up, and I basically had suspicions that it wasn't real by the time I was like 7-ish, 6 or 7-ish.
Yeah.
And then I pretty much figured it out by 7 or 8, but I kept up the ruse for a little bit longer because I was like, I get extra presents doing this. But it was around like 4th or 5th grade that I just told my parents. I was like, yeah, I realize it's not real. But I think if I have kids, I am gonna do that, at least until they're like 5 or 6.
Yeah. I want my kids to be the ones that go into school and they go up to the other kids and they're like, Santa's not real, right?
Oh, there's an asshole like that in every class.
No.
But that's the kind of kid that just likes to break things.
The thing is, I don't think I'll have to do that much, because I think Alicia will be the one that sorts all that out. I'll just be the one kind of going, yep, listen to your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I got a bit of a free pass on that. God, I was thinking about something a moment ago, and I've utterly forgotten it. Oh yeah, something that I want to start doing. Well, this is not a promise at all. This is a maybe it'll happen.
This is an idea in his brain and nothing else.
Yeah, so I've got a drawing tablet somewhere in storage, and I'm gonna hopefully try and get it out before the new year. And I want to start trying to do more digital drawing and maybe some drawing stuff on stream.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Actually,
it would.
Another thing, also not a commitment, but something we could do, especially since I have the week off. Excuse me. We talked about doing either a video or a stream about this. I have all those Pokemon cards.
Oh my god, we keep talking about this and not doing it.
I know. But at least they're here now. They're sitting over there in my dining room. We can do it anytime. We just need to plan for it now that there's some time off. Are you working next week, or do you have the week off?
I am in work on Wednesday, and well, we can discuss this afterwards anyway.
I'm just curious. It's the podcast is going to go out on Christmas.
We could potentially do it next week. Yes.
Yeah. Just a thought, because again, this is going to go out on Christmas, and it'll be the week after Christmas that we're talking about, so it's relevant.
You got many family plans over Christmas?
A bit. So I personally, the way my family does things, we rotate holidays. So we used to do all the holidays at my grandfather's place every year. Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, it was always there. But since my grandfather passed and, his house got sold, we've moved it around so that we started rotating. So, like, my parents did, like, Easter, my aunt was doing Thanksgiving, and my uncle does Christmas. My aunt doesn't want to host anything anymore, so my parents now have Christmas or Easter and
you
Thanksgiving.
got a house now, you can host.
That's what they tried to do Thanksgiving here this year, and I'm like, the house isn't ready for it. But that might be in the future. It wasn't ready. It literally wasn't ready for it.
At Thanksgiving.
Not
That
for
was
not for my
after
whole.
I had been.
It wasn't ready for my whole family to come here.
I think. I mean,
Having you and
yeah.
Alicia here, it was two people
Yes.
as opposed to having like eight. So I needed more time.
Do they need to be able to stay the night?
No, no, but they need to
Okay.
be. There needs to be enough room for them to move around and eat dinner. I needed the leaf to expand my dining room table, which is still back at my condo.
God, you need to hide all the embarrassing anime stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Quick, hide the porn.
Oh
No,
my
the
goodness. Sorry.
just but to finish off your question, now so Christmas is always at my uncle's place. So my aunt, my parents, me will all be heading up there, and then we have a nice day eating food, exchanging gifts, and playing in the yard outside with my cousins. They have ATVs too, so we might go like riding on the trails up there for a little bit. Yeah, fun
What I'd
times.
love is if at some point between Christmas and the New Year, if we could get a Hive tabletop Monopoly game going, maybe, or something like that.
Some kind of like a big board game that takes a few hours or something like that.
Yeah. Something like that. But no, one of my cousins was over recently, and he was saying how he when he was very young, he was into Warhammer, and recently he kind of has been looking at it again, and he just straight up bought like a very nicely painted army of Ultramarines.
Mm-hmm.
And he's basically got them hidden away in a cupboard. And at some point, he had a girl over, and she's like, "What's in this cupboard?" He was like, "No, no, 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 no!" And it was too late, and she saw this massive collection of Warhammer.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, what's the harm in that? Did she? What is she? Is he afraid that she's
because
going to
now
turn
he
around
looks
and
like
go?
a nerd.
Yeah, is she going to turn around and go nerd?
Apparently, he took her to a. You know how you get these VR places that you can like rent for a short go.
Yeah.
So it was one of these VR places, and there was like a booth with which you step into it, and then there's VR stuff inside. And so he went in there, and he was doing it, and she was waiting outside. I think either she had gone first or she was going to go second. And he hadn't realised that the booth wasn't soundproof. So he was playing like a zombie game, and he was like shouting like, "Oh fuck zombies!" Ah! And he walks out at the end. There's like a queue of people, stifling laughs.
Oh my god. It's awesome.
But yeah. So yeah, we got to see a bit of family this Christmas, which was rare.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you were saying you had that was the cousin you had from down in
New Zealand.
Down Under. The neighbor to Down Under.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
we've got New Year's to look forward to. Well, I mean,
New
we've
Year's
got
is gonna
Christmas to
be-
look forward to first. But...
So that's the other thing. So I mean, I've got Emily and Gabby coming up on Monday. There was supposed to be a D&D one-off where Kevin, Jake, Duncan, and them were all going to come up here, and we were going to do like a one-off D&D
Oh,
in
okay.
person.
Have I got D&D stuff to talk about with you? But go on.
But what happened, like, I don't know if it's going to happen now because Duncan's like whole family caught the flu, and so he's not sure if he's going to be well enough in time to actually do it. So that might not happen. But New Year's, we've started doing this thing recently. Like Jesse might be hosting a New Year's party. But what we've been doing, because we're all getting older now. Several of us have kids, so we've been doing New Year's, but we celebrate New Year's in British Standard Time in GMT. So the New Year's party wraps up at like 9:00.
I see.
Then everyone can go home. So I might be doing that. But besides that, my week's pretty open.
D&D wise,
Yeah.
I've been trying to get my party to end the fucking season for like the last 2 months. And in the previous episode, one of the players basically went and got themselves killed. But not even that, they got themselves knocked out and carted away to buttfuck nowhere. And so the rest of the party was like, oh my god, we got to spend the rest of this session trying to get him back. And I made it very explicitly clear that this guy was gone, alright? You are not getting him back. He has left the area. You're at a very important meeting in the morning. You can't afford to leave. But they are determined to not do the main campaign. And I fully accept that it is a bad DM that railroads a party. But
occasionally it's necessary.
2 weeks before Christmas, and there are things that need to happen sooner rather than later, because people in the party are waiting on events to happen. And finally, in the last week before Christmas, I managed to get them focused, and they turned up to a final big encounter. Like, this thing had been coming up for weeks and weeks and weeks. This big meeting between essentially the Emperor of the Empire meeting with the leader of the forest folks, basically, to sign a peace treaty. And they were all super on edge. They were anxious as fuck. They knew it was going to go wrong. And obviously it did go wrong. And they were all like, oh, excellent. It's gone wrong. We now know what has gone wrong. We can deal with this. And they start fighting. And it gets to one of the people's turns. Now, one of the party members, like 3 months ago, said, I'd like to try a different character. So I said, okay, brilliant. You are now a pawn in my game against the rest of the party. And in this ultimate final episode of the season, they've saved the Emperor, they're dragging the Emperor back to shore, and then that party member turns and stabs the shit out of the Emperor, and then walks away from the party, like, peace, I'm out. I've achieved everything I need now, I'm out of here. And there was just fucking silence from the party. It was amazing.
That's an amazing twist.
Oh, it was
God.
great.
Now you've got me thinking. I've got D&D stories for you, actually, too.
Go for it.
So, we're currently in this massive tomb where it's just, like, full of all kinds of crazy cursed stuff and issues and things. And a lot of traps. And there has been... So, one of our I'm the party's tank. I'm a paladin. I have heals, but to a limited degree. A lot of us have healing powers.
This is the Jesse game, right?
This is the Jesse game.
Okay.
So one of our friends posted this quote, and he's just like, yeah, I feel like this is me, and my character's name is Damikos. So like, I feel like this is me and Damikos. And the quote is, forget, quote, tank or healer. The most important D&D party member role is person who touches the cursed objects. Which...
I mean, they can be...
Like, what happened in the last session, what happened was we found this giant propeller blade made of adamantium. When you step on the floor, it turns on and sucks you into it. So, what do? We got a little fire familiar, attached it to my character, and then sent me sprinting down the hallway to teleport past the blades at the last second. And it was just like...
Nice.
So it worked, but if it didn't work, I would have been mincemeat.
That was a kind of an object I gave my party, which wasn't cursed as such, but it's like it's like this lantern, which when you light it, it takes you to like a side dimension, shall we say, where you can only see what was happening in the real world based on like small orbs based on the magic potential of a particular person is near where their body was.
Yeah.
And you can walk basically through walls, through people, anything, and then reappear up to 30 feet away, I think it was. And then it has like a recharge time before you can use it again. And one of the people had been given this because they're trying to do some espionage on a camp. And they decided that this was the right time to try and test the boundaries of this magical item by stepping beyond the 30 feet. And then they almost got mauled to death by dimensional demons. And then suddenly the item became a lot more interesting to the rest of the party. They were like, oh, I want to play around with this more. I'm like, you almost died to it. Why are you more interested in it now?
Oh, God.
But yes. Anyway, D&D aside.
I mean, D&D's fun. A couple of years past, like we've had people in our group want to do like Christmas one-off encounters.
Ugh.
I played a barbarian Santa that rode a grizzly bear one year.
You tend to get either barbarian or druid centers.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun. Trying to find the token image I was going to use for him.
Oh, I remember actually you asking me about that, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? We've gone on. I think we've exhausted everything about Christmas besides talking about the history of Christmas, which we covered in our quiz segments in previous years. So no need to go into that.
Exactly. Well, I feel like we did do in previous years. We have done a lot about Christmas, so this has just been a podcast. It feels like, but
we talked about Christmassy things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We it's a podcast with Christmas lights hanging off of it.
We should have talked more about Christmas food, I feel like. That's something I can really get into, but you'll have to wait till next year now for that.
Yeah, we can't use up all our ideas. We gotta wait till year 4, which actually, quick thing before we end off, this is episode 99. We gotta think of something for episode 100. That's a big number. We've been coming up on that for a while.
2023, episode 100.
Yeah, maybe that'll be the New Year's one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's where we can end off. Yeah, this is going to be the end of episode 99 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.